I have never been so jealous of people going to Taco Bell than this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con's Demolition Man Taco Bell. Hello, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And wait, you weren't a little jealous about going to the...
No, there's
Demolition-
a Taco Bell right down the street.
But it's not the same. It's the Demolition Man. It's like a super, like, luxurious, futuristic, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
No.
No,
All
still
right.
Taco Bell.
It's still Taco Bell. But, I mean, come on. All the different pop-ups, and that was the one that, like, everybody was taking pictures of and stuff.
Yeah.
So, that and the Jack Ryan one. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. First off, we want to welcome all of you newbies, all the new cult members. First of all, thank you for subscribing to our channel. We've gotten a good rush after all the trailer reactions and everything from San Diego. And so we don't ask a lot around here. We sit down in front of a computer once a week and talk about pop culture stuff and news and commentary and give our opinions on stuff. We do trailer reactions and movie reviews. So we do that all out of the goodness of our heart, of our inner cockles of our heart. And all we ask from you as cult members is to share this page with your friends. And why do we ask that? Is because, well, we want more people to join our stupid little cult and subscribe to the channel and follow us on all the social media stuff and Stardust. And
Right. I need more people to listen to him besides just me.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. We want to be internet famous. Not really. We just want to talk to people about I want to talk to people, and my wife would like somebody else to have listen in the conversations about stuff. See how you are. So what we ask is, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and share with all your friends and tell them about what we're doing around here. We're just a couple of people talking about movies and TV shows and cons. Specifically San Diego Comic-Con this week.
Yep, this week, yeah.
And we have a bunch of stuff that we're going to go over. Now, we're not going to talk about all the news and notes that came out of Comic-Con because we're two people, and even though I had 3 days of sitting in front of the doing #CouchCon, I still missed a bunch of stuff.
Yep. We only got what we got.
And there's some stuff that we just don't really care about. Like, I'm interested in the Titans show, but I have no knowledge of the Titans, and so it's going to be on the CW, the DC universe, which is going to be a paid program channel that we're just not going to get. And that's not saying that you shouldn't get it if you're totally into that stuff. That's just not something where I'm looking at Disney because of the Star Wars and Marvel stuff. But that's what it comes down to, and Hulu, because apparently all the stuff on Hulu is amazing right now. That's our rock is coming. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. Moving on. We want to start off tonight's show before we get into the San Diego Comic-Con stuff, paying our respects to Jon Schnepp. Jon Schnepp is kind of a titan in this industry. He's done a whole bunch of different stuff. He directed Metalopolis. I'm going to screw up the name. He put a documentary together called The Death of Superman Lives with his fiancée Holly. He did all this other stuff that in animation and in the pop culture and the comic book geekdom. We know him from Collider Video and Collider Heroes, and he passed away on the 19th from complications due to a stroke, and we never met him directly. We watched him all the time on Movie Talk and on Heroes and stuff like that, and Schmoville, Schmozno and stuff like that. But I had talked to him a couple times via social media, asking him questions and seeing if he was going to come here to Phoenix for Comic-Con. And we missed him this year, and now I'm super bummed that he didn't come. Let me tell a story real quick. I stumbled across Collider Video one day on a Facebook ad, because Facebook ads work kids, and they were giving away tickets to go to San Diego Comic-Con in 2016. And it was 4-day passes and hotel and travel and everything like that. And that was back when Collider was part of Complex. And so I'm like, well, I'd like to go to San Diego Comic-Con. Let me sign up for this thing. And so I signed up for this thing, and I'm like, what's Collider? And so I went and found Collider on YouTube. And that was their main platform of whatever. And I started getting into it. And getting into what they're doing, their daily movie talks and TV talk and Nightmares and Heroes and then later they did stuff with Jeremy Johns and Awesome Tacular and all that stuff, and it's what kind of drew us into doing this show was what Jon Schnepp and John Campea and Christian Harloff and Mark Ellis and all of them were doing, and I saw what they were doing. And was super jealous that they were able to sit around and talk about all the stuff that we really liked, and they're getting paid to do it. But B, they kind of gave us an outlet to go use your voice, put yourself out there, let yourself go. And Jon Schnepp was one of those guys who always talked about that. He was always one of the ones, just don't be afraid of your inner geekdomness and your love for movies or comic books or whatever it was.
Yep.
And so he was one of the reasons why we started this channel, and not the only reason, but one of the reasons. And he was always somebody that we looked at too for humor. And I got a stack of comics over here that I need to finish reading because he turned me on to all these comics and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it just really sucks when a really awesome person is taken from us. You can't take the assholes, right? You got to take the good ones. And so I don't know. We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I don't know how you feel about watching John. I mean,
well, I mean, so his tagline, I guess, was that he got sweaty. He called his fan base the Sweaties.
Yeah.
And he did. And sometimes he would get a little too sweaty, and I was like, yeah, I'm lost.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I tell her, like, you need to watch this episode of Heroes, and then she get me halfway through it. I'm like, okay, I can't keep up.
It's just I'm not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was, he did everything. He was, like you said, he was a director, and they were getting ready to do some TV shows.
I think they're doing a TV show, and they're working on a movie, him and Holly, his fiance. So.
Yeah, he's done a couple of movies, and he's way into the comic book stuff. Like, there was not a comic book thing out there that he didn't know.
Right.
So, he was always a good addition to movie talk and stuff, and usually a voice of reason when Christian or Roca kind of get into their
Campea would kind of do that every once in a while.
Yeah, Campea
too.
would do that too.
And,
and he would just be like, chill out.
He was always like, oh, you have whatever your thing was. Like, it's cool. Like they were talking about today, they did a kind of a wake kind of thing on Collider, and they had a bunch of people in, and everybody said whatever you're sweaty about, he would like encompass what he was doing with you in your geekdomness or whatever you were sweaty about, and that's how his interaction with me was always when I talked to him online.
But he, like Kevin Smith, did a thing during his
Hall H panel
last night about him, and Brandon Roth.
Michael Coulter, who plays Coulter, who plays Luke Cage, Henry Cavill.
It was Henry Cavill. That was because somebody was saying Superman. Yeah. And I mean, he was super well known in the industry, but he was just kind of a down to earth guy.
Yeah. And it just, like I said, it sucks that you can't take. I'm not gonna get political. Take a fucking asshole as like make good. Like, can you do that? Am I asking for too much here? Am I asking the universe for too much? We have had some really good people taken from us way too early for cancer or stroke or whatever, and it's just like, fuck you, universe. I mean, come on, but we as humans and people and stuff like that cherish the good ones, and that's what we're trying to do here is, we didn't directly know him, but we still were impacted by his influence.
Yep.
And so John, whatever you're doing, I hope you're getting sweaty and having fun. That's all it is. So we're gonna move on and talk about San Diego Comic-Con and try to cover as much as we can.
There's a lot.
There was a lot. So what we're gonna start with is the movie trailers that we saw that came out of different panels and different things that came over. Universal had a panel, Paramount had a panel, Warner Brothers had a panel. Warner Brothers encompassed the DC stuff, and then there was a bunch of other panels that happened. There was Predator stuff, but nothing that got online. There was Halloween stuff, but didn't get online. There was stuff at Scare Diego that had It footage, but they've only been filming for a couple weeks.
Yep.
And so
Wonder Woman 2, but that didn't get released.
Yeah. So, and they've only been filming for I think they said 2.5 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
There's also a Deadpool 2 super unrated Blu-ray cut panel that happened on Saturday night, which I felt was really weird, but it
was. We were like, are they gonna announce something? Or
they kind of hinted at some stuff. I have to sneeze, and this is gonna be really fun. They hinted at some stuff that I told you I was gonna sneeze. That there's X-Force being worked on, and Ryan Reynolds is working on something, and Zazie Beetz is working on something, and it's all kind of like they didn't come out and directly say it's happening, but there was a lot of pointing at different things and stuff like that.
All right.
What we're going to start with is the trailer that came out today, because all good trailers come out the day after San Diego Comic-Con.
Right.
There was a panel this weekend with for Alita Battle Angel, and it is a anime thing. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about this. The trailer has me intrigued.
Yeah.
I did a trailer reaction this afternoon. I won't go into depth with it because she hasn't watched it yet. Cyborgs, robots, post-war. That's what it looks like to me. But it looks like the details and the background and the cities and the cyborgs and all that stuff. It looks really cool. It's got Christoph Waltz. It's got Robert Rodriguez as the director. James Cameron is the executive producer, along with John Lando. So so it has my attention.
Yeah, it seems like it's got the makings of I mean, all these are good people, right. Good actors, directors, whatever, and you hope they wouldn't throw behind.
Robert Rodriguez doesn't do stuff just to do stuff. He's not in the. This is one of the things I kind of read online. I'm not going to talk about what some people were complaining about online. But one of the things I am going to say is Robert Rodriguez is not in the directors union.
Right. He left.
He left because he wanted to give Frank Miller director rights on Sin City, and then the directors union, I can't remember what it's called right now, told him no, and he says, okay, fine, I'm not paying my dues anymore, see ya. Yeah. And he picked up his entire production company and moved to Austin, Texas, and he does stuff when he wants to do stuff. Go watch El Rey. That's everything you need to know about Robert Rodriguez. Go watch El Rey Network.
Awesome channel.
It's an awesome channel. So I'm super interested in this one. So it comes out in December. We'll have a lot more to talk about it later. We watched a trailer called Origin. It's going to be on YouTube. It is Tom Felton from the Harry Potter universe.
Now you know where he went. Why he wasn't on Flash this season.
Why he's on? Which sucks because I really like that character on Flash.
Yeah.
This is there's two of these together. So one is a movie and one's a TV show. And this is like they're leaving Earth to help save humanity, go to another planet, and then all of a sudden everybody wakes up and they realize that everybody else that was on the ship like abandoned ship. And they're left there, and there's a looks like there's a monster or something like that.
Yeah, there were two of them that were almost exactly the same. One was a thing where they leave Earth, and then they can't come back to Earth.
That's
and
Night Flares at the TV show.
Okay, and the other one, they actually went to another planet. And we watched the second one, we're like, we just watched this.
Yeah,
the YouTube show.
The Night Flares one is going to be a TV show on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
And it's based off a book written by George R.R. Martin.
R.R. Martin, yeah.
And it looks like they took that concept and put it on Origin and kind of played with it a little bit and stuff.
Yeah,
and it kind of makes me feel like, what was that Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence movie that came out a couple years, like last summer?
Oh, yeah, that was the one you didn't like.
There was some field kind of to that, and they spent a lot of money on both of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in the Night Flares one, only because it's based off of Martin's book, and it's going to be a series, so you can do a long format storytelling that way. Origin, it looks great, but YouTube for a movie. I mean, I know they're trying to get into that marketplace, but I just
it'll be on the pay for YouTube thing, which is fine. Again, if that's what you want to pay for, cool. But we have to pick and choose what we're gonna pay for.
Glass. So we watched Glass. I think we've seen the trailer like 4 times
a
now.
bunch of times.
M. Night Shyamalan and the Unbreakable Split universe, comic book kind of feel. The trailer deals with a psychologist who her specialty is treating people who
think they have special powers.
They think they have special powers, and yet there might be some special powers and stuff. But they leaned in the trailer. They leaned really into Glass, Mr. Glass, Samuel L. Jackson. They really leaned into that. They really leaned into the psychologist having this conversation, and they really leaned into the heroes and villains comic book verse of it. Yeah. I don't care. I'm ready. Like,
yeah.
I just we really liked Unbreakable. We really loved Split.
Yeah.
And
we liked good M. Night Shyamalan. We liked Sixth Sense and Unbreakable and even Signs. Some people didn't, but
we've talked about this in the past. Really like the alien sci-fi verse or whatever, and one of our guilty pleasures is Ancient Aliens. Fucking shit is real. But that movie is awesome. Because they really don't show the aliens except for it's like the monster. It's like the shark and Jaws. You don't barely see the monsters and the alien and whatever. But the best picture that ever come out of a movie, probably in the last 20 years, is Joaquin Phoenix and 2 kids sitting on the couch with tinfoil hats on.
Yep.
It's just like the blank look on their face. They're gonna scan our brains. It's just awesome.
Put on the hat.
Yeah. We're talking about Signs and not Glass. But Anya Taylor-Joy's in Glass, and Bruce Willis is back. Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy's workout routine. Jesus freaking Christ!
This here, ugh.
And he's able to do something with his mouth and show all of his teeth. He was How did he not get an Oscar nomination for Split and all those different characters he played?
I don't know, because the Academy is dumb.
The Academy is monthist.
Monthist?
Yeah, if it doesn't come out in after
they
October
just have a
or November,
short
they have
attention span.
Yeah, they do. Need to give them some peanuts so they can remember. Elephants have long memory. Give them some peanuts.
God. Right.
She dusts
on Monday.
And if you understand that reference, you're on the right show. But yeah, we're super excited about that one. And then the Warner Brothers stuff all happens. Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. The whole cast came out. Ezra Miller was dressed as Toadette. And probably
the whole day.
All the interviews, everything. He was freaking. And you think the more we kind of watched as we went along, the later in the day he got, the more it kind of got to the point where you think that maybe that headgear was maybe not the best decision.
Right, because it was like this big.
But they showed a trailer. They had a panel, like a 15, 20-minute panel with the whole cast. Everybody was there except for Johnny Depp. And the Johnny Depp stuff that's gone on, I mean, we talked about it a little bit when we did the trailer reaction, but he was never charged with anything. Him and Amber Heard figured it all out. They were both backstage at the Warner Brothers panel, and there's been nothing that came out of it. And so people need to, move on, I guess is the best way to put it.
It doesn't directly involve you, so, I mean, it's part of being in the limelight, right? Everybody feels like they know your business and have the right to an opinion about your business, but they really don't. And okay, like we said in our review of the movie, just don't date him.
Right. That's fine.
Just don't date him, and you're fine.
Yeah. So they had this really cool panel, and then they showed the trailer, and then the room went dark. And Grindelwald came out. Johnny Depp, as in full costume, in full makeup and everything, walked out and gave a speech. And we listened to the speech. I think he was getting it pumped in his ear, but it was very deliberately kind of. And now the very little bit I know of Grindelwald, he's kind of that very deliberate kind of character, anyways.
Well, he's just spent a whole bunch of time in Azkaban.
Right, that's true. So he's going to
probably nutty as a fruitcake.
Oh, right. Oh, well, yeah. Because he was before he went in, and then he went to Azkaban, and it made it even worse.
Well, yeah, and I mean the Dementors sucking on your brain for a while.
Yeah.
Make you crazy.
But the trailer itself, oh my God, gee, crimey, just.
We've seen that one probably 4 or 5 times too.
Yeah, and we might watch it a couple. Well, actually, we'll probably see it in front of a bunch of stuff that we're going to go see the rest of the year. That comes out in November, and everybody's back, and it's in the Harry Potter universe, but it's in forward in time. Jude Law is Dumbledore.
Nicholas Flamel. We do know who that person is. We do. I couldn't hear who it was, and I was like, who is this old guy? Because we don't watch the trailers before we watch them so we can react to them, and it was like, okay, who's this old guy? And so we rewatched it and we're like, it's Nicholas Flamel. Yeah,
we know
we know who he is.
We got to it. To be honest, there was 4 trailers that all came out within like 25 minutes of each other, and so we were trying to blaze through film and everything so I could get it edited and put up. And the way our setup is, we get a glare from the stage lights, and sometimes we can't see. And we also don't want to turn up the speakers on the trailers too much because we don't have the feedback into the microphones and stuff. So we're trying to somewhat see and somewhat hear. And I'm not going to say that we're more experienced in our age, but we're a little more experienced in our age.
Gone to a couple of rock concerts.
Yeah, and so we kind of missed we missed some stuff, and we went back and rewatched it, and I'm like, record this because there's so
well, like in Glass, we talked about that we couldn't tell, but the colors, and then when we went back and rewatched it, yes, everybody was in the colors that they were supposed to be.
Yeah, our trailer reactions are like legit, like first time going through, so there might be times where we make a mistake or we miss something, and it's not because we're being idiots or anything like that. It's just upon first watch you're gonna miss some stuff.
Yeah, you're just trying to catch everything.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But it's after seeing it 3 or 4, 17 times since then, we're super excited about it, and we really like the Harry Potter stuff. We've talked about this a little bit. We're going to do a Harry Potter weekend. We're going to go through all, 9 movies now, and sit down and just, it's 8 and Fantastic Beasts. So we're going to do the whole thing. I want to do it with Star Wars, but we need like a month because there's a break in there that we need to do because, damn. But yeah, so we're really excited. We got Godzilla. We thought we might get Godzilla. We got Godzilla. We got a teaser trailer with Millie Bobby Brown trying to get a hold of Monarch on like a shortwave radio kind of thing.
Thursday,
I think it was,
and then the
which was
trailer
really
on Saturday.
cool. And then we got the trailer at the panel. You see Godzilla.
Yeah. Finally.
And you get Blue Flame and his spikes in his back are all lit up in blue. Yep. They make a point of saying that the Earth is in like a bad way, and the only way to save it is to wake up all these ancient monsters. And so they go wake up Rodan and Mothra and like all. It's like, okay, so that's a dumb plan. Let's go wake up all the monsters.
We are ants.
Right. And but it looked really cool. That trailer doesn't really give a ton of the story other than they're waking up the monsters. I don't care.
Well, I mean, you get Millie Bobby Brown's mom is the
scientist, whatever, it makes the decision.
That says we need to release these, and she doesn't agree with her, right? And there's probably like, you can figure it out. There was a dad, and mom drove him away, and she holds it against her, and nobody cares. It's all about the monsters.
So the big thing from that trailer, other than Godzilla looks fucking amazing, is Lannister King.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember what his real name is.
I don't remember his name is. Anyways, at the end of the trailer, they're in like some observation room or whatever, and there's something that happens with Godzilla in the background, and he turns and he says, "Long live the king." And I'm like, you fucking can never say that line. Ever say that line. Because, he got shot while pooping. Spoilers for a different show. But that trailer was just so cool. We talked about it in the trailer reaction. The first Godzilla, a lot of people complained that there wasn't character development or anything. It's a fucking monster movie.
Yeah.
And so...
Go watch the originals.
Yeah. After, like, the third one, they're super campy.
I think they all are pretty campy.
They're all pretty campy, but they get even worse as they go along.
Yeah. Don't watch the Matthew Broderick one, though.
Oh, yeah. No. That one doesn't exist. Just like the third Jurassic Park doesn't exist. So now we're to the DC stuff. Now, they announced during the DC panel that the DC Extended Universe is dead. Now, to be honest...
It never lived.
It never really lived. It was never anything official that the DC Warner Brothers film group ever used.
No.
It was somebody wrote it in an article
and
for
the
like
internet ran with it.
So we got the DCEU, and then somebody came along and says they're not going to use the DCEU anymore. They're going to use the DC Film Universe.
DCFU.
The DCFU. Again, nothing ever had come official from DC or Warner Brothers.
Somebody's sitting at their computer going, "Hold my beer."
Hold my beer. Watch this. So they announced that they are going to officially call their, for lack of a better term, movie universe as Worlds of DC. Now, your initial reaction to that is, the wonderful world of Disney kind of feel to it, but it's Worlds of DC. They don't say film or movie or universe or anything like that.
Yeah.
But after thinking about it and kind of looking at it and stuff like that, I take this as, with just this name, they have said, these are all of our movies, and they're probably all going to be standalone with very little connectivity to them. And that's kind of what we got with Wonder Woman, and it looks like we're kind of going to get with Shazam and Aquaman. These standalone movies where the other characters exist in those movie universes, but they're not directly connected with each other.
Right.
That's what it sounds like to me.
And it allows them to do the 50 million Joker movies and the 50 million Harley Quinn movies and have none of it.
One of the discussion points that I'd heard today is if this was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, movie studios would have 6 or 7 different movies in development that are all kind of around the same thing. So you have Earth disaster movies. So you have weather or asteroid or aliens or whatever. But they're all kind of at the same. But they're all in development, and they're pretty much just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing now, but now with the internet and shows like us, we're going to talk about there's 4 different Joker movies going. There's Jared Leto's Joker, and there's going to be the Joaquin Phoenix one, and there's by the way, Martin Scorsese wants to do one with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like all that stuff's still being done. It's just they're having these conversations and seeing what's going forward. Officially, the only thing going forward is the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, and that's not even talked about inside the Warner Brothers Worlds of DC thing. It's being made, but it could be like just a standalone away from it. Right now, rumors of Suicide Squad 2 and Justice League 2 and Man of Steel 2 and the Matt Reeves Batman and Flash and Cyborg and all those movies are all just rumor.
Yeah.
The only official things right now, and the Harley Quinn, all that stuff, whatever. The only thing official right now is Shazam, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman 84. Those are the only thing official from the studios. Everything else is just...
And that's fine. They need to close the doors and pull down the blinds and regroup and get their shit together.
After Justice League, and they had all the big blow up, and they had the big reshuffle at the top.
Yep.
And then they had another kind of reshuffling here, like a month ago or so, whatever. They had another like reshuffle. Like it looks like they're trying to put all that together, but they're like, here's our 3 movies. We're not talking about all that other stuff that's going on. We're talking about it, but we're not talking about public stuff. So,
which is what they should do.
Which is cool. So that was cool that they kind of didn't put that to bed, but at least said, here's an explanation of what we're thinking about. Shazam looks awesome.
Yeah.
We laughed multiple times.
Somebody was like, his costume looks too puffy. Do you not understand? All right.
No, people don't. People don't, and that's fine.
That's fine.
And they are allowed to say, "I don't understand." And there's people that get on there and flame them for it. That's maybe going a little too far, but
this is the point of the movie.
Right. It's
he's not Superman. He's not supposed to.
Right. Zachary Levi is a great casting for Shazam himself, and just it's just. The trailer was awesome, and the cast running around and doing interviews, and everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
And just, I was kind of like, I don't know, I can live without this. And then I saw the trailer, and I'm like,
and we laughed, and so we'll go see it. Yay.
The last big movie trailer though was Aquaman. And if we're gonna talk about movies that I think won the weekend, the movies that won the weekend, Godzilla and Aquaman, I think, are the ones who have that conversation about.
Yeah, they were the most talked about.
Yeah,
definitely.
and Aquaman. It looks amazing. Like all the practical stuff and all the CGI, and he's riding the fucking great white, and there's a Battle of the Bastards fight under the water, and
like seahorses and freaking sharks with freaking lasers.
I just are you kidding me with all this stuff that's going on? Momoa looks awesome, and I'm sorry, Amber Heard is sexy as fuck, and I don't care if her hair it looks like a wig. I don't care. That's the point of her character. It all looks so good, and I'm super
I get
excited.
it. I was a little, maybe if they could,
if it's bright red in the sun, it's got to be bright red in the water.
I know, but it did look fake.
Yeah, but I don't care. If that's the one reason why you're not going to go see the movie and it looks and everything else looks amazing, and you're not going to go see it because her hair looks like a wig. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But it just the comedy that was done and the action that was done, we get a general idea. Here's the bad guy. Here's the really bad guy with Black Manta, and they like essentially just pulled the suit off the page in the comic and built it,
and apparently had it on display at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I saw some pictures.
So you could see
like
how it articulated and the gills and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was
cool.
It was cool. I mean, that one again we probably watched 2 or 3 times already. And each time I'm kind of catching something else. There's a shot about halfway through the trailer where they're in like some submarine or whatever, because you can't swim everywhere. And they going into Atlantis, and there's this quick little shot of Arthur Curry, and he's got this shit-eating grin, like, this is cool. And it's right at the initial introduction of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, this is cool to him. It should be cool to us.
Yeah.
Kind of visual cue. And Momoa killed it like the whole weekend. Fucking yellow leather pants. Just.
Yes, please.
Yeah. And there was the picture of him and somebody else drinking. God, what was that? Was that Saturday night? They were at some party, and it was he was drinking a Guinness, and he was sitting with somebody.
I don't know. There was
Zachary Levi or somebody like that, or something like that, and they were like been having cocktails and yeah.
There was a picture of him and Ezra. Wasn't there a picture of him and Ezra in the hat, in the outfit?
Ezra Miller won the con. That's the thing. All right, so that was the movie stuff. TV wise, we're gonna kind of skim through some of this stuff. The Doctor Who slow rollout they've been doing for the last 2 weeks has been frustratingly fun to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a Companions trailer right before the con, and then Thursday morning kind of started the con off with the Doctor Who stuff and the new cast and Jodie, and they showed a trailer, just kind of a 50-second kind of just here's what the Doctor's kind of what's going to happen in the season kind of thing going forward. Didn't really explain a whole lot, just some shots and stuff. We have all kinds of theories. That's okay. Jodie then went to the Her Universe fashion show and showed up in one of the outfits, which was really awesome. The Her Universe fashion show, I guess, was like what everybody talked about. Like,
nice.
It was really cool. That was kind of winning the con for the first couple of days. Arrow, Legends, Flash, Black Lightning, Supergirl all had their panels. The 2 trailers we want to talk about is Arrow and Legends. The panel, Bebo came out and got beat up by Rory.
I hope who's ever wearing that was okay. Yeah. I was like, he punched him, and I was like, there's a person in there.
And then Katie Lutz and Brandon Roth went over and Matt
Hugged
Ryan
him.
gave Bebo a big hug.
Bebo loves you.
I so want a Bebo. But the trailer itself really just showed a lot of stuff that happened last season, because they've only been filming for a couple of weeks, and so they threw a couple things in, mostly introducing Matt Ryan into the cast as Constantine.
Yeah.
And so, which is awesome. Like, we finally get Constantine full-time on a show. If it's not his own show, we're going to do a lot of magic this year. The show is crazy anyways. It's goofy. They're going to fully lean into it this year. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Constantine, but it'll do,
it's
I guess.
It's what you get. It's what you get.
I know.
We can go watch the CW Seed one. That's the cartoon one that he did.
No.
It's not the same. I know. Arrow, again, showed a lot of stuff that we kind of already knew. This is the Oliver Queen in prison season.
Right.
And that's it's straight from the comic. There's like a whole run of him in prison. And it's just,
and Stephen Amell is like, here's my my big news or breaking scoop or whatever. Oliver's in prison with a bunch of people he put there.
Yeah.
And we're all like,
well,
duh.
So that looks kind of, I really, really, really like this last season of Arrow.
Yeah.
Actually, the last 2 seasons of Arrow, I really
We actually said, we're like, we flew through it.
Yeah.
It went so fast.
And we're struggling to get through Flash.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Legends was like only 16 episodes, so we flew right through Legends.
Yeah.
And Supergirl, we've tried a couple times to watch Supergirl. It's just not geared for us. I think it's awesome what they're doing on that show and how it's connected with everything else, but it's just not something that we're into. I've heard a lot of people rant and rave about that show. We just can't get into it. And if you are into that show, maybe you can explain it to us, but it's just not. It's not hitting with us.
Not every show has to.
Yeah, and Black Lightning, I watched the first 6 episodes on the CW Seed. It's really cool. It's really cool. The problem is the CW Seed app is fucking shit, so it's really hard to watch stuff. And we end up
watching it on Netflix when the other stuff comes out. Yeah, because their app is horrible.
Yeah, so we'll have that's like maybe third or fourth on the list from right now. So. Clone Wars got renewed. They did a 10th anniversary panel
after 11 years or 10 years
something
or whatever.
Like that. They came back. They're going to do one 13-episode season to kind of close out the arc that was Clone Wars. Dave Filoni had 3 seasons written when they canceled it, so they're going to kind of close out the thing. The big thing that came out of that trailer was Anakin and Obi-Wan walking in. It looks like they're doing the Siege of Mandalore. They walk into a room to talk to Rex, and there's a hologram standing there, and the hologram turns around, and it's Ahsoka, and it's the first time Ahsoka has seen Anakin since she left the Jedi Order, before we get to the big fight with Vader and Ahsoka in Rebels. We can get super sweaty on all that, but essentially what it is, oh my God, they're bringing back Clone Wars. So now I have to go download the Netflix app and see if I can watch them all. Because they're supposed to be on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Supposed to be. Or I'll have to look it up. Walking Dead had a 5.5-minute trailer, which is about
longest trailer
4
ever.
minutes more than it's really needed.
Probably.
We did a trailer reaction. We talked about it in the trailer reaction.
I mean, it's
time for the show to die.
Yeah, and I was saying there's no real big bad, I guess. Again, we didn't hear, like, you really have to listen to the whispers at the end. Apparently there's supposed to be a big bad, a bigger badder than Negan. At some point, how much bigger and badder can you know?
Right. They're in the comic.
Are you gonna get Thanos? I mean, come on.
Right.
At what point?
If Thanos comes in and snaps his fingers and all the zombies go away, then, because that would be balanced, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, Mars, I don't know if you've seen the Mars trailer yet, have you?
No.
Mars was a show that we watched on Nat Geo. It was this hybrid show where there was like a documentary style, but then they had like dramatizations, and it was about the colonization of Mars. And it was super well done, executive produced by Brian Glazer and Ron Howard. It looks amazing. All the documentary stuff they had, scientists and astronauts and stuff like that talking about what it's going to take to get to Mars.
Right. They talk about what we're kind of doing right now and what of that will lead to what it's going to take to get to Mars.
There. So they're doing a season 2. I heard nothing about it until it popped up on my feed. And it looks like what happens now that we have colonized Mars. How does social structure work? How does plague? How do you deal with plague? How do you keep everybody powered and fed and watered and all that stuff?
Yeah.
So we're in. Deadly Class, martial arts Hogwarts is what it looks like on Sci-Fi. I'm super into Night Flyers. We'd already talked about. A couple of the news notes and stuff like that. Andrew Lincoln is actually officially leaving Walking Dead. I was going to say about that. There was kind of rumors. He put it to rest. He is walking away from Walking Dead.
Yep. Or maybe stumbling away.
Or there's a shot in the trailer where somebody's kind of walking, kind of stumbling, looks like a walker, but blood stops dripping on the ground, and it's a set of cowboy boots, and so is it, and whatever. But he kind of talked about in the panel that he was like, I'm ready to be done.
Yeah. Don't blame him.
This is 9th season on that show or 8th season on that show, so yeah, I get that. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is getting a reboot. They're currently shopping it around. Joss Whedon is going to be an executive producer. They have a showrunner. Her name is Monica Osawa Breen, who has written a bunch of different stuff. Has worked with Joss in the past, whatever. She's gonna be the showrunner and head writer on the show, and they're gonna reboot. They're gonna have a black female lead, because it's a female lead, but a black female lead as the Slayer, and so they're kind of working on it. They've got a treatment. They're putting it together. They're gonna put scripts together, and they're gonna shop it around. It will get picked up. It will probably get picked up by somebody like not CW, but somebody like that, FX or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
The one other thing out of that came up this weekend is Shannon Purser, who played Barb on Stranger Things, has already thrown her hat into the pot to play a Willow-like character.
Yeah.
And which would be perfect.
Yeah.
I think it would be.
It would be awesome.
It would be awesome. A bunch of other stuff. Like there was a whole bunch of off-site stuff. There was the from San Diego Comic-Con. There was the Demolition Man Taco Bell. There was the Purge City outlet where you could buy stuff for the Purge, since the Purge is getting a TV show. There was a Jack Ryan experience where you get to VR across the zip line.
That looked awesome.
Which looked amazing. FX had a whole like corner, and they had like Cosmos and Legion and all that, like a whole bunch of stuff in the corner. Marvel had a grief counseling center, which is fucking hilarious. You go in, they gave you a name tag. You sat down with a counselor, it was an actor, and you talk about how
did a little group counseling session
or whatever, and then for like 10-15 minutes or whatever it was, and then they got done, and then they showed you a cut scene from Infinity War.
Yep.
And then they gave you like t-shirts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which I thought was just awesome.
Yeah, it was funny.
And then the last thing I really want to talk about, we're not going to talk about the James Gunn stuff, at least today. Maybe we'll get to it when there's more stuff going forward, but I don't want to talk. I have it on the list, but I don't want to talk about it. I want to end on a positive note. The positive note I'm going to end on is Funko Fun Days.
Yes.
So, we have you can't see all the Funkos that we have. I have 70 plus Funkos. They're up there, and some up there, and there's a couple over there in the Porg. And we watched a documentary called Making Fun. It's on Netflix. If you are into documentaries, you need to watch this movie. If you're into Funkos, you need to watch this documentary. If you're into toys, you need to watch this documentary. If you're into building your own business from nothing and doing it the right way and having fun doing it, you need to watch this documentary. It's a kind of a cool, all-encompassing documentary. In that, they talked about these Funko Fun Days that they started doing. Was it 90, 80, 2004, 2006, or something like that?
It was a long time ago.
And the first one, they just wanted to thank everybody who was into the Freddy Funko Pops.
And the first one was in like a conference room.
At a hotel.
With some tables and a couple of people. And
they put butcher paper on the tables and decorated up, and they did some silly stuff, and they did cereal, and they had like a breakfast meeting and stuff like that, and it was just like a thank you for all the fans, and it's just kind of built up from there. And so this year was a 20th anniversary, and they live streamed it, and I've never been so jealous of some motherfuckers.
They got a ton of stuff.
They had everybody there.
Yeah.
They had Kurt Hammock, who is in Kurt Hammond, who is in Metallica, who is in the documentary about his comic book shop and his monster shop that he has, and he's into Funkos, and he actually is a Funko of a Pop.
And they've got 2 new ones of him as monsters
that they're going to have released at his monster museum. It's going to be in Montreal, I think it was, Canada.
Toronto
North. And so he was there. They had 4 of the others from the documentary, the boxer, the Hebrew Hammer, and I can't think of his name right now. The Black Power Ranger, Min Chang from Comic Book Men. Who was the other one? Anyways, they all came out, and they did this, like, my section is better than your section, like, roar fest.
Yep.
And that section that won a bunch of Funko Pops, and then they did this. Steve from Stranger Things was not able to be there, so he did this little video.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, by the way, Mike, tell him what you're gonna do for him." And he turns around, and Mike's the CEO, and he turns around and says, "Everybody's getting Scoops Ahoy Pops.
Yeah.
They're only available at the fun days, so everybody got 2 Pops there." And then they had contests. Each section won another contest. And then David Harbour, who plays Harper on Stranger Things, came out, and he had a bag full of Pops. There are gold of Hopper from Stranger Things. There was only 40 made, and they gave him the table 20, which is funny because some of the guys from STS were there. STS guys, another podcast here in Phoenix. They were at tables 23 and 24, so it was so close. And everybody got a boombox that was full of stuff with Pops in it, and then they gave away just this giant party, and it was 80s prom themed, and they had performers and quick change performers and like just this big rockin' 3-hour 80s themed party. Oh, by the way, here's a pop, and here's the ones, and you can't get them anywhere, and you can only get them here.
And you get a pop.
And we watched the live stream, and I'm just like, every time they would do something, I'm like, we should have just gone. Like, we should have just, like, I saw that they were giving, I saw the post that said tickets are available, and I'm like, we should just go and sign up for these and see what. Now we know for next year we're gonna try for passes for San Diego. If not, we're gonna at least go for Funko Fun Days.
Right.
That's what we have to talk about, at least for now, from San Diego Comic-Con. It was a lot of stuff that we covered, but there was a lot of stuff that happened. And like we said in the beginning, we can't cover everything. Some of the stuff that we just don't care about, and some stuff that, it just doesn't. There's not enough time. We'd be here for 4 hours trying to cover everything that happened.
Yes.
We even talk about the Nerdist House. We even talk about right. See, and. We also want to thank Joe and Sly. They're friends of ours. They're members of the cult, and they took a bunch of photos for us while they were there, and I put them together in a little video. It's on the stream. I'll tag it to the end of this into this podcast. It was very awesome of them to do that for us, to let us steal a bunch of their photos.
Yep.
And they do it for us every year, and we have to go with them sometime. What do you guys think of San Diego Comic-Con? Our thoughts about it? Let us know. Leave us a comment on this video. Like this video. And like I said early on, please subscribe if you haven't already. And share with your friends so we can build this cult to make it bigger and bigger every day. Get a hold of us on our social media outlets. Facebook, PopCultureCult. PopCultureCult1 on Instagram. At Pop_Cult1 on Twitter. We're the Stardust app where you can download it. React to everything you're watching, little 30-second videos. Just follow us first. That's it for this night. I'm sure there'll be a trailer tomorrow that we have to do something for. And until the next video, good night now.